Are you currently suffering from outer hip pain and been diagnosed with something like gluteal tendinitis or tendinopathy, but the pain's not getting better? There's a good chance you're suffering from one of these common mistakes. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dr. Zach Green here at Performance Sport and Spine in Seattle, Washington. In today's video, we're going to cover these 6 common mistakes, why they're hampering your recovery, and then some better options to help you get out of pain. Now, before we start, it really frustrates me when people are told what not to do, but not given other strategies of what to do. So several weeks back, we made this other video, the link is up here on the right, about 6 tips to get you out of the pain. We'll also put it in the description below, and that will help you with some positive strategies. So the first thing as we think about this condition is don't think about it as an inflammatory process. Inflammation is there, but it's secondary. It's about mechanical overload and loss of capacity. Things like ice, cortisone shots, or rest will help with short-term pain reduction, but it's not attacking the root cause. Progressive strengthening and load management is how you get out of it. The second thing is this is not a stretching or muscle tightness problem. I can't tell you how much money I would have if every patient I had that was told to stretch it would give me $1. Unfortunately, this is a common mistake, is that people are told to stretch and compress. Now, this is honestly analogous to going to a dietitian for weight loss and be told to eat Big Macs. This is the last thing you should do. This problem is when the tendon gets pressed against the bone, that causes more damage and irritation. Well, things like foam rolling your hip or the pigeon stretch is just smashing that tendon into the bone, causing more problems. This is especially important in early stage rehab where that compression has to be avoided or minimized for recovery. There's so much evidence we have now that says that compression is the primary problem. If you want to check out those positions and activities in the proper form, then that other video will address that. Third is ignoring load management. And what this means is modifying or adjusting provocative activities. And with this condition, that's going to be primarily walking, running, and hiking. So it's not about what your muscles can do, it's about what the tendons can handle. So in the past, if you could do 10 miles and you only can do 1 mile, you gotta be okay with that. And you gotta avoid big spikes, big dips, and big spikes. It's gotta be a gradual progression. Now with this condition, everyone deal with it. Maybe we're going on a trip, or their friend invites them on a hike, and they know they shouldn't do it. You gotta think big picture. Try to avoid those provocative activities that are too much until your tendon can handle it. It's gonna set you back and be frustrating. Find their baseline and then increase. For walking and running, a good rule of thumb is just find a time that you can handle and then try to add some each week so you can be systematic with your progression. I know this can be kind of confusing. And fortunately, we work with people online for that very reason. And what we can do is help kind of separate the noise from what actually matters, kind of connect the dots, give you the appropriate amount of exercise, answer your questions, empower you, and give you reassurance, which is extremely important with this condition. Now moving forward, the fourth thing is you gotta not lay on that side. That compression, like I talked about, if you stay there for 8 hours, it's really gonna irritate the tendon. 2 helpful strategies is lay on your back with your knees bent with a pillow under it, or lay on your good hip, but make sure there's a thick enough pillow that that top leg doesn't fall down. Also, I've had tons of patients that say a gel mattress topper can really help cushion and can be a game changer. So if you're having problems sleeping, I would highly recommend ordering one of those. Fifth is a clamshell. Now this is probably the most prescribed PT exercise out there, or rehab exercise. And unfortunately, at best it's gonna do nothing, and at worst it's gonna irritate that tendon. That tendon lays on that bone, and as you put your leg in that position, that friction and that repetitive compression can really make it mad. Plus, even at best, it's a very low load exercise. The video here will give you much better exercises and more appropriate with progressions, so please just stop doing clamshells. It's really just kind of a useless exercise. Last is just not progressing the exercises intensely enough. So let's take the glute bridge, for example. Now, all these exercises should be slow tempo, so 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3. Tendons adapt to slower loads. But let's say you're doing 2 sets of 6 and you do see some improvement, and then it plateaus. Well, once that becomes relatively easy, you need to make that harder. So maybe you go 2 sets of 8, 2 sets of 10, you put a 5-pound weight on your stomach and then progress to a single leg. You gotta make the exercises harder each week or second week to get the tendon strong enough to handle the daily demands. Too often people are just underloaded. They get these kind of baseline exercises that are helpful to a point, but not progress enough. So you've gotta make this more challenging and more difficult as your tendons can allow. Really, in summary, there's 3 things I want you to think about. You have to reduce compression. You got to avoid compressing that hip into that tendon with sitting, standing, walking, and laying. Secondly, you got to have load management. You got to know what the baseline can handle. You can't just completely rest tendons. You got to find what they can do and then progress. And then third is you need just a systematic approach to progressive strengthening. It's actually pretty basic. It just takes consistency. We hope you found this helpful. Please like it if you did and subscribe. And truly check us out if you want to work online so we can really help you.